Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com and CorrectFemaleCode.com. All right, so here's the thing about my business. I'm a personal development coach, life coach. Now, when I say life coach, I'm professionally trained. There's people out there who are literally saying, oh, I'm a life coach, and they have zero training, haven't read a book. So now I'm a professionally trained life coach in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, Ericksonian hypnosis, timeline therapy, HNLP, which is humanistic neuro-linguistic programming. And I did train with Tony Robbins years ago for neuroassociative conditioning, which essentially is neuro-linguistic programming with a twist, okay? With a good twist, a lot of twists. So I have more to my background than that in communication, linguistics, et cetera, but let's just leave it at that. So here's the deal. A lot of people are like, well, what is your course about? Now, the main course is Cracked Female Code. It's for men. Now, the flip side for women is why men just don't get it. That is a really, really funny course. It's fun. The realizations that women have about men, they're like, is that why they do that? Like, yes, that's why they do that. They're not being mean. But see, a lot of things that men do, women are like, oh, he just doesn't care. He's just being a jerk. When actually, that's his way of expressing his deepest love. Okay, I'm getting into it right now. We are so different and opposite from each other. The way a man expresses his love, she doesn't recognize his love at all. She's just like, well, why? I know he keeps doing it, but why? That's his way. And then I express and teach the neurology and how we're wired. Then we're like, oh my God, he does that all the time. So he does love me. Like, yes, he loves you very, very much. Sadly, a lot of men and women get divorced because of this misunderstanding, okay? So I'm going to put it into a couple words. What is my course really about? It's about romance, love, and communication, and clarity, and understanding, a deep, deep understanding with absolute clarity. Now, from a man's brain, there's no absolute clarity with women. If you learn how to open up to your right brain and use the same processor, if you learn how to process in what we call double pictures, because that's what the right brain does. The right brain is a different processor. Here's the deal. Well, why would I do that? Because that's how she receives love. That's the language she's... Now, when I say language, a lot of people, oh, you just metaphorically. No. I am telling you. Men and women are speaking two separate languages. There's the left, logical, linear. It goes like that. It goes in a line. Linear means line. L-I-N-E. Line, AR. It means it goes in an external linear direction. It's the external outside processor. This is the internal processor. So let's just talk about that for a minute. The left brain processes everything through logic. That's why everything is looked at. See, the left brain is about rules, structure, and organization. It's really good for business, math, and science. Guess what it sucks at? Understanding another human being. Probably a problem there. The right brain is the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. It's also the relationship brain and the social skills brain. Socially, how do I interact? See, when you're in your right brain, you already know because you can see it. With the left brain guy, you got to teach them, when someone does this, don't do it. It's all about rules. They don't know why. They just know, like, well, when I break these rules, I get in trouble and people get mad at me. That's not what this course is about. When you open up to your right brain, it becomes automatic because you can see it. You can hear it. You can feel it. What did I see about the right brain? It's the 5 senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. So here's what happens. When someone is in their left brain, they process it through logic. They process it through rules, structure, and organization. So now, even though something was emotional, like Jesus said, love is the answer. Love is the fulfillment of all the commands. Commands is left brain. It's rules. The reason why God did that is because he's like, humans clearly aren't using their right brain. And that was the fall of man in the book of Genesis in the Garden of Eden. We got stuck in our left brain. God's saying all this right brain spiritual stuff, and humans are all, well, what's the rules? What are we supposed to do? God's like, love. How is that confusing? The word sin means you're closed off from your right brain. That was the whole thing in the garden. You ate of the tree of knowledge, which is, the left brain. But what it means is you got stuck there and everything became about rules, structure, and organization, which is religion. Now, I'm not going to go down that path anymore. Look at it this way. The left brain and the right brain act like they're filters. When the same words get processed through here, you're hearing rules. You're organizing it. You're structuring it like a religion. The right brain is filtering it through the 5 senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. The key word is, this is the emotional filter or processor. This is the logical processor. And men think, well, we're right because we're logical. No, you're not right. You're just processing it through the other side. If you don't know how to open up to the right side, you can't understand what they're saying. So how does that make you right when you don't understand? Well, let's just blindly follow a set of rules. How many times over the years, I mean, if we look at history, how many times have the rules been completely wrong, punishing people for showing their hair, beating them, torturing them, even killing them? Sometimes rules don't make sense at all. And sometimes rules are brutally wrong. And that's the whole point of the Bible. But men don't get it because they're stuck in the tree of knowledge, the forbidden fruit. Yeah. So what is my course about? It's about clarity and understanding, real understanding. So now, as I've said in the past, when a woman's in her right brain, because women can be left and right, they have more nerves that in the corpus callosum that connect the left side of the right side. When she says a paragraph or 2 paragraphs of information out of her right brain, he unconsciously pulls all those words, the same words, English words or whatever language you speak, and he filters them through the logical filter, and it changes the meaning. So he's over saying, oh, so you're saying B, B, B. She's like, no, I'm saying A, A. He's like, you said this and this means that. She's like, no, I said this and this means this. So this is A and this is B. You're having 2 radically, completely different conversations while you're talking to each other. You're not saying the same thing and you're not hearing the same thing. You are literally having two separate conversations. And a lot of people are like, well, what are you talking about? Let me add one more thing in here before I get off. The right brain is the descriptive brain. Adjectives and adverbs. Boom, right there. I just lost a lot of men. A lot of men, the minute they hear adjectives and adverbs, when they take my course, I don't want to talk about that because it freaks our brain out. Because adjectives and adverbs are right brain's processes. And if you're not open to that brain, you don't understand them. When I was a kid, I'll be honest with you, I was terrified of that. I was like, what is this? I don't understand. Here's the deal. See the picture behind me? I could say that's an awesome picture of an Indian. But she'd be like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, what do you mean? I just told you it's an amazing picture of an Indian. That's a woman. She has makeup on. It's also 3 sections. It's about 6 foot tall. Each section is about 3 feet wide and about, I don't know, what is that? About 2 feet in height, each section all the way down. That adds a lot more description, adjectives and adverbs. And then you can describe the rich red, thick, 1.5 inch, deep, I don't know what you call that, not ruby red, but, dark, deep red around her eyes with black, thick black eyeliner. And here's the other thing, her eyes are blue. For an American Indian, that's very interesting because they have brown eyes or darker eyes. Then you could describe the frosty, icy blue lipstick, with big, thick lower lip and a 1 inch wide, thick ruby red strip going down the middle of her lower lip. And then you could describe all the pieces of the feather. Like one feather is this bright, kind of not yellowish orange feather with a white tip. See, the way the right brain works is, number one, you have to describe things in detail, which is adjectives and adverbs. So I'll give you another example of that. The other thing is you have to describe each piece of the puzzle. And the reason why is because the way the female brain works, the right brain works, is you describe one piece in detail, adjectives and adverbs, and then the next one and the next one, and then you start to connect them. Then you describe more, connect those. You're building up the puzzle. Each piece gets put into the correct place, and you build it, and then boom, she goes, oh, I can see the picture. Now I understand you. The reason why you have to learn how to do this is so she can understand you. And men are like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you. Women have been telling me for 30 years, like, I just don't understand them. So I've learned to nod, say, yeah, I'm like, why? And they said, and here's the thing. I've learned never, ever to tell my husband or say to my husband, well, what do you mean? Or what does that mean? Men flip out. And you know what? It's true. Men flip out. When you're like, what do you mean? I just told you I had an awesome vacation. What was awesome about it? She doesn't see the picture. She's got a blank canvas. What was awesome about it? Well, the fishing trip. Oh, so the fishing trip part of it was awesome. Yeah. So what was awesome about that? She goes, well, what do you want? The details? Yes. Yes. She needs the details in order to understand what you're saying. Because right now she's like, well, why won't he tell me? She has a blank canvas. You have to paint each piece of the puzzle and describe each piece. Well, me and Jim caught this big fish. Well, what kind of fish? How big was it? Was it 3 feet long? Was it 6 inches long? Was it 12 feet long? Was it a shark? Was it a whale? She don't fucking know. And that's what men assume, like just as, well, oh, that's right, she wasn't there. She wasn't on the fucking boat looking at what you were looking at. So yes, of course you have to describe it. But men don't do that. And then they get mad at the wife for asking, like, well, what happened? And, and then asking another, like, well, okay, so what made that, why did that make, and that's nothing. Then you got to describe what I call internal language. Now you have to describe the feelings and emotions inside in detail using descriptive languaging, adjectives and adverbs. That's a whole nother segment of my course. But damn, does it change your life. She falls in love with you. She has clarity in communication. Do you want to know why clarity in communication is so important to women? It's because her mating system is connected to the right brain's communication center. It makes her fall in love. It makes her want to make love to you. It makes her really, really happy. No, Mike, I'm just going to buy her a dozen roses for $140. That'll make her happy. Really? That hasn't worked out very well over the last 100 years. No, I'll just buy her a brand new car. Saw my uncle do that. She divorced him a month later. And it was an awesome, it was the Mustang GT convertible 5.0. That car was awesome. Back then, and in 1985, that was the car to get. He also bought her a new house, a bigger house. It was the third one he bought. She left him. Clearly, roses, expensive dinners, nice cars, houses. They don't work. And by the way, this is Napa Valley, very beautiful area. You could see the vineyard from their house. I know, I used to live there. Clearly, that's not working, guys. But if you can just understand, her mating system's connected to her right brain's communication center. Did I say logical communication? No, I didn't say logical. I said right brain. What's my point in sharing all this with you? There's something to learn here. This isn't just about getting laid. Although, here's the thing, though. It will get you laid. And I'm sorry to say that, ladies, but men need to hear this wording. See, a lot of people kind of get mad at me thinking, oh, you just teach men how to take advantage of women. No, I'm not. I'm teaching men how to communicate in a way that women have been begging for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Every woman who... I've got a woman on my men's coach. I'm going to put this on both channels. I've got a men's coaching page for men. It's a YouTube channel. She's on that channel, and she's like, no, I don't want to leave this channel. She goes, I like what you're talking about. All women do, 100%. Because this is what women want from men. But you can take the pickup artist courses, and you can learn about lines, linear, lines, openers, gambits, and what's the other things they teach, I know, because I took the courses. They don't work. It pisses women off. Especially when they realize what you're doing a month later, like, oh, he's just doing all this memorization. The left brain is about memorizing stuff. That's all it is. The right brain is about creating and describing in your own way. So you can't memorize that because you're describing it as you're going along. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. If you really want to take another in-depth level of understanding what I'm doing, buy my book, Cracked Female Code, at crackedfemalecode.com. Women, if you want to understand what's going on, hire me for 3 to 5 sessions for why men just don't get it. I'm also doing workshops and trainings on that. It's about 4 hours. It's about a 4 to 5 hour training. That's all it is. Go to MikeKollin.com. You can also buy my book, Why Men Just Don't Get It, and the second one, Every Woman's Battle, The Need for Love and Emotional Fulfillment. They are very, very affordable. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.